language that I've been taught when I was at school. I'm an investor, a business owner, and a money educator. Understand it better, compound interest, cash flow, budgeting, investments, recover from debt. No one explained to me, put your money to work. Work is about normalising the conversation. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Money Mechanics podcast. I'm Sarah Poynton, and today we are joined by the very cool Mark Potter. We've been trying to get this episode done for ages, but technology wasn't kind to us, but here we are today, we've made it. So Mark, do you want to just introduce who you are, what you do, and then we can get into this?
Yeah,
it's going to be a great conversation.
Said my name, Mark Potter. My company's Ernest Hardy. I can give you the story about where that name come from later on, but it will take too long in the intro. Various property companies. Smallest stuff is light renovations. Biggest stuff is hundreds of unit developments. Everything in between. And then now I've also got a care company, Ofsted registered care company, but I'm sure you'll dig into that as we get going.
Yeah, I'm sure. So let's go like right back. What's your very earliest memories of money as a youngling?
Right, I suppose right back to when I was a child and listening to stories from my parents who did not come from money and slogged through. Did mobile discos in the 80s for gay people, and gay people these days are a lot more accepted than they were in the 80s. So no one would do these discos for these gay people. So my parents did it, a bit of a niche all around the Midlands. They were quite well known for it. And they saved up a lot of money and started their own business, like refitting nightclubs and doing bits and pieces like that. So that's my first memory of sort of grafting money. My second memory of anything big happening was when they got a contract for a big brewery company to look after all of their pubs and do all of their refurbishments. And when I was about sort of maybe 6 or 7, my mum was talking to me about things like this contract's worth £3 million a year and things like that. And to put some context over that, when I was 6 or 7, it was a while ago, that would have been early 90s, mid 90s. So they'd come out of the bad crash, the worst one in 2008, nearly lost the house and all of that stuff. So that was my first childhood memories of money linked to me, but not in my control.
And do you think you grew up with quite a good relationship with money, or do you think your surroundings and your influence made you worry about money, or like what was your relationship with money growing up?
Yeah, I think unusually I had a bit of a weird mix because my parents are both from council estates and used to speak about how their parents didn't have much and how they've grafted and we were lucky to have what we had. And by no means it was overprivileged. There was no private school or anything like that for me. We just owned our house and not rented it from the council. That's what, that's the level we're talking about. Money was never really spoke about in a worrying sense. My mum used to talk about what she had to do to get where she was, which I suppose might have helped with my risk appetite now, because I used to hear some wild things as a kid that they were up to get where they needed to go. But my parents, weirdly were separated but still worked together. They did. They had a company for years and years, and sort of I was surrounded by that. It's probably where I got a bit of experience from for not really having the desire to work for anyone.
So have you always worked for yourself, like since you were young, or did you have jobs along the way?
No, I've never had a job. I dropped out of school when I was 14, didn't really like it. Went to a local school to me. It was all right, mix of kids. Some what you'd call rough, some all right. And school wasn't for me. My kids won't see this podcast because they don't know that yet, because they go to private school and they're not allowed to know that I did that because I don't want to steer them.
That's wise. So you started working for yourself from like effectively 14-ish or like moving forwards. And what was the first thing you did to like make your own money? Okay, a very short interruption of the episode, so I want you to get back to listening. I just wanted to remind you that the Money Mechanics weekly newsletter is completely free, and we'll send this out to you every week. All you've got to do is find the link in the show notes and get signed up. When we send this out to you, this weekly newsletter is going to include things that will help you to become a better money mechanic. It could be things like what's happening in the markets, things like budgets, how that's going to impact you. And I'm also going to share a lot of insight into what I'm doing in my own portfolio and in the portfolio of the guests we've got on the podcast to really just help you understand what you could do differently to make your money work as best as it can for you. Make sure you go and find that link and get signed up.
So like we were doing the basics of selling cigarettes on the playground, you know, which wasn't that big of money, but then I went into car braking. So back then you could buy like a Peugeot 106 for 60 to 100 quid off an insurance company that was a total write-off, and we just break it up in a unit we had on a farm, and just sell bits on eBay. When eBay is a lot different now. Back then, not many people were using it, and it was just getting started and all of that kind of stuff. It was a lot easier to do that. I mean, every man and their dog's doing stuff like that now, so that's long gone. Then I bought a recovery truck, started doing a bit of recovery, because I got my license by then. So we're talking like 17 odd, 18. I'm just trying to think. Recovery company, did bits and pieces like that. Had a bit of a car garage going on, and that kind of thing was where we sort of started with that.
I think what's really interesting, I think, to set the scene around like the businessman that you are now, obviously I've spent time with you, I've hung out with you, I've followed you online for a long time. And I think it's always really interesting for me anyway, and also the people that listen, is I can say this is Mark. Mark's a wealthy man. Mark's done really, really well. But actually, often people are on this journey still trying to become wealthy, become successful, become independent. And it's actually helpful to hear how people have done that and the journey it took, and also sometimes just how fucking long and how hard you have to work to get to where you're going. Long. So tell us all the things, because I think it matters in context to everything else.
I'm like a dog in business years. I'm at retirement age. The amount of time I've been doing it now, you know, like I'm ready to not do a lot anymore. I've got to, but I'd quite like to not do a lot anymore. So after that, did various things related to it. So I started importing containers of pet products. All of the, no one do any of this now, by the way. This is back then.
this is years ago.
This is not saying you should go and do this now, because I wouldn't. It doesn't work anymore. Everyone's doing it. So we were bringing in containers of pet products and selling them on eBay, and had an independent site that was no good. So it was all driven through eBay. Amazon wasn't even really a thing. Picked up a bit of a bar and a nightclub along the way in town. Did that. Don't do that either. I mean, everyone knows not to do that now, don't they? We'll keep it evergreen and not talk about our current government, because hopefully this podcast will last longer than
change.
So did a bit of that, and then bought and sold supercars a bit as well off the back of the car garage, and then really started tucking into a completely different industry when I met the kids' mom, which was military vehicles over supercars, because they're kind of just as expensive but don't depreciate. They actually go up because you can't get them. So all of the risk had kind of gone from owning and buying and selling supercars to them not being worth as much as they were if you don't get them gone quick enough, warranty issues and all of that, to going into military stuff that you can just leave in a field and it goes up. You just got to buy it in the first place. So it was ideal. That then led to firearms. So we did not just vehicles, but we did tanks, live tanks, guns, all around the world. We did that. I think there's a film that I always get quoted on, something like Warlords or something. I still haven't watched it. Everyone says watch that film. It's you. Don't know. couldn't tell you. Then the other guy, that Bruce Compton guy that was dealing in military vehicles, I'll get quoted to be him too. Don't know. Again, probably something similar. But yeah, so that then led on to a civilian gun shop as well as military stuff. So we were just buying and selling normal shotguns and rifles as opposed to the military stuff around the world. That all collapsed with the breakdown of communication and relationships with my business partner that I did it with. And then that went straight into property after that. That stage, kids were in private school then, I had big bills, and then we had to fire everyone on Christmas Eve, which was awful. Worst Christmas ever.
Really bad.
Kids, no money coming in. So civilian... No, we'd gone past the gun shop. The gun shop had gone. We're on the pub. So we did a land option deal on a pub, split that off, got planning on 2 houses, sold that. That was my first ever property deal. That made me, I think it was about 23 grand in about 4 weeks. Just jumped in, did it. I mean, doing property as much as I do now, that was a dream deal. Jesus, like, you don't get them like that. You can't get a land option, get a bit of planning and come in and out of it that quick.
You can't now because planning takes so bloody long now.
I know, that gave me a real false hope about how good property is, with time frames and things. But it got me out of the shit anyway, and got the school fees paid, and we'd carry on with whatever we were doing. Next bit of money came from a remortgage of the family home, and then we just went for it with the buy-to-lets. Bought 14 houses in the first year of normal property, just all buy-to-lets. Still got them all, never sold anything.
And that was that back in the days when you could get like 110% mortgages?
No.
What year was
2019. I've only been in property since 2019. People think it's a lot longer.
I always thought it was longer than that, like 2017, I thought, but 19 is fine. So you bought 14 houses in the first 12 months and funded by your own money or investor money?
Partially my own. First 2 or 3, because you're only using deposits, was all my own.
Yeah.
Ran out, but by then people saw what I was up to, which was pretty good at building relationships with the agents and got involved. And we just bought them together. But I bought all my business partners out now with the buy-to-let stuff.
So you went from buy-to-let you went from land option development.
I just didn't even know what that was, Sarah. I just bumped into someone that did, and they just took me under their wing a bit.
Amazing.
I could do that now myself, but not then.
No. So you went from buy-to-let and then into bigger developments. And now, so Ernest Hardy, what does that company do now? Like, what's the main work that you do?
So we've got a bit of a sales team selling our developments. Some of those are ours. Some of those are master sale contracts with much bigger developers.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Most of that is to non-English. We've got a great big Nepalese client base through 2 friends of mine, but work with me on the company, become friends over the years because they've been doing it with me so long. So we do a lot of that stuff abroad. With the Gurkha and Nepalese community. That's really nice. They're really nice people. So that's one thing. Then we've got WeBuyAnyHouse.uk is my company as well, but we don't brand it EH because, there's a bit of a stigma around companies like
different client base.
Yeah, it's like a bit, are you an ambulance chaser? Well, only when we've got 5 minutes spare.
Yeah. Fair.
Other than that, we concentrate on the good things. But yeah, so there's that. And then, so we've got a development company doing small developments and refurbs and things, because I still think there's strong money in that. In my area, at least anyway, in Leamington, still real strong demand for like turnkey 3-bed, 4-bed houses, because they're 600-700 grand by me for a semi. So people don't want to do their own stuff around here. So there's still a real good market for just grabbing a bit of a probate property that's been inherited that they can't afford the tax bill on or something. Not judging everyone, but just kind of painting a quite common scenario, and then just refurbing it and getting rid.
what should I do in property today? I want to go development because I want to make the big money, but people are not willing to risk big to make the big money. So for the average Joe, is development actually really all it's cracked up to be, in your opinion, as a very experienced developer?
I mean, I wouldn't, no, not really. I mean, yeah, because we bought the land a while ago, but I wouldn't want to go out now starting to try and buy land that all of the big developers and everyone else is trying to get rid of because it doesn't work anymore and they want to get it off the balance sheet. So if you start going into land now, unless you know what you're doing or you got some good contacts, and when I say now, let's put a timestamp on it, 15th of Jan 26, you're going to get sold some absolute crap.
And that's the risk, isn't it? Because if you don't know what you're doing and you think you're getting a deal and actually it's someone else trying to offload the shit that they don't want anymore.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's an
shit I could sell some idiot, but I won't do it.
So for you right now, if you were like starting again and you were getting into property now, you know you want to do it, you see the long-term value in property, how would you treat getting started as a property buyer, seller, investor, renovator? Like, what would you do now?
What, like with no money or with money?
Well, I mean, with no money, but
or?
Yeah, probably a bit of a contact for money, or you're working on contacts for money.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this would still work anyway. That's going to be very unpopular because it means you've actually got to work.
No one wants to do that, right?
They actually don't. They actually don't. There is no, let me just tell everyone, there is no Ozempic for property, okay?
No, there fucking isn't, sadly.
There is nothing that you can spend your money on that's going to speed things up other than a gym membership so you get focused. Anyway, there isn't, is there? That's it. There's no cure. Yeah. It's time. What would I do? I would go and find people that had a big database of investors. And then I'd go door knocking on shitty houses and try and secure them and sell them to them. Get 10 grand, get 15, get 20 grand here and there, 5 grand. So
you wouldn't do the actual renovation. You would get it agreed at a price, find someone to buy it and just take a cut in the middle.
So while you're sort of sat there going, oh yeah, I want to be able to put some nice renovation pictures on Instagram and they're doing it and they're saying they've bought 5 houses. Those people in 2 years will disappear faster than you can say, where's my investor money gone? Because you see it. Oh, there's this superstar coming through now and she or he is doing all of this. No, bollocks. And anyway, if they do manage to get the money and they do manage to do a house and sell it and make a bit, there's probably 5 grand left in it for them after. So,
which is interesting because like we're about to complete this week on what you're proposing, which is find someone that's selling, find someone that's buying, and broker the deal in between. Stay on top of some of the stuff, and we're going to get a fee of 10 grand for that. And I haven't had to hire a builder, pick a tile, none of those things. And actually, it's been done on like an option type basis. So actually, the guy buying it's going to get a really good deal out of it. We're not going to make as much money as he's going to make, but I've had to do way less work. And for me, I like that structure. I think it's a great structure. Relationships, right?
The faster that you learn that is the way to do property, and that is the way all of the big players in property do property, and it's not look at my blooming HMO kitchen, la la la, I haven't paid my investor back. The faster you'll actually get on to doing some proper stuff.
I think that's the thing. Simple, like, what's the path of least resistance? So we talk about this a lot with clients, like the path of least resistance. Sometimes people just overcomplicate this stuff. And I think this applies for property. I think it applies for investing in general. I think it applies for business in general. People try to do what they think they should do based on what they see other people do, rather than actually what is in fact the path of least resistance, the simple route. So right now then, you'd be brokering deals in the property market.
But I want
That's
to touch on what
sit.
you just said with the path of least resistance, because this is twofold and quite interesting with this matching up a buyer and seller thing. So parts of least resistance or low barriers to entry are just like floodgates of people that can do stuff with no resistance. So let me tell you where the hard bit is. Well, I think the hard bit in this is not the barrier to entry, because you can go and talk to someone with money. You can go and talk to an agent or knock a door or something. That's easy. That's the barrier to entry is that. It's getting off your arse and doing that. So there's loads of people doing it. and there's loads of people selling Rightmove links and loads of other stuff that I don't agree with. The barrier to entry here is doing it long enough to get a proper deal.
Mm-hmm.
Being told no, the agents rolling their eyes when you go in. Sod estate agents anyway. They don't know anything about property. They jump in and out of recruitment and estate agency. There's a big myth busted.
Be kind, because I'm an ex-recruiter, but I'm not now.
Shit, I'm just upset enough, am I? All right, fine. Estate agents.
And I just sold my agency, my lettings and estate agency. I've just sold it, so I'm no longer a recruiter or an agent. So we'll take it.
Yeah, well, those lot are just a waste of time, aren't they? So they don't know anything about property, and everyone goes, "Oh, I've got to go in and impress the agents." You don't, because next week they won't even be in that agency.
Yeah,
so don't bother with
it. So you literally said earlier, I'll go and knock on doors and I would try and secure properties. And this is something I think people want the shortcut. They don't want to do the marketing. They want to go to the agent that's already done the marketing. And actually just walking down a street and knocking on doors of ugly rundown houses saying, are you interested in selling? Because I want to buy. And just seeing what they say is so like, what's the word? I can't think what the word is.
Undersold.
Like it's such a good strategy. Such a good strategy.
Yeah. So it's like what people that come straight into property try and do is they try and go to a main dealer, car main dealer, which is Rightmove or your agent, buy something from them and then sell it on. Yeah. What makes you think you're so special to get a margin on that? Do you not think they've put it all the way up at what it's worth?
Yeah. So if you let's talk a little bit about risk, right? Because I think sometimes what happens is people get drawn into different areas within the property space, or even just in the investment space in general, whether it's the markets or crypto or whatever your thing is that you want to invest in. But they get stuck and they don't do it. And often, in my experience, it's they've seen the deal. Actually, it does make money. They're just really frightened to pull the trigger. In all of the years that you've done, what have you learned about the need to take risks?
Well, you need to take risks. If you don't want to take risks, go and get a job, which, in my opinion, is more risky anyway, because you're not in control of it. At least when you take a risk for your own company, you're in control of it, or at least a little bit in control of it to the extent of your knowledge. But, you could go in, especially at the minute with national insurance contributions, all of this other crap that's going on. Your job is just not secure,
Yeah,
it's not. Anywhere. I don't care where you work. Don't care whether it's a blue chip company or probably worse than it is, a big chain, whatever it is that you think is going to be your answer every month to getting 1,000 or 2,000 quid or whatever wages are these days. Bollocks. You need to take some risk.
So how do people who are not risk takers get comfortable taking risks? Like, what's your advice? Just fucking do it?
Or is there... So find someone that is a risk taker and ask if you can spend a bit of time with them. Tell them that you're scared or whatever and be honest. I think half the time people try and make them, when they're trying to get into property, they try and make themselves out to be something they're not, Do
you know what? This is something that I learned really early on, and something that I say often now to people that I'm working with. We don't have to be something that we're not. In the early days, I thought I had to be a version of myself that the people I was working with at the time wanted me to be to make them look good. Yeah. Basically, if I'm really brutally honest, like that's the case. And when I stripped it back to what do I want and what does success look like to me and what are my skills and what am I frightened of and what am I good at? Actually, that version of me was a really different version than the one I was showing to people. Yeah. And I'd created this version of me that I ended up just not liking very much, not being very happy in, because it wasn't for me. It was for like the optics. And I think when you can come back to the simplicity of what do you want, what works for you, what makes you happy, what excites you and all those things, actually taking risk is taking risk, but you can do it in a way that is aligned with who you are, which means the risk is worth taking. So whether it goes right or it goes wrong, you made it on a basis of doing something that was like good for you.
My advice is, this is terrible advice. But if you're in a job, it's very difficult to get sacked these days with all the employee rights. So take the piss and take loads of days off and build your business up so people can sack you.
As long as you don't work for Mark or me, that's the advice.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, you know what I mean, though. Like,
I do.
You've got to do something. And there's so much waffle around. If you really are going to do it, do it.
So for somebody who doesn't want to do property but wants to start investing, like, do you think that getting started small makes a difference? So like there are some people listening to this podcast who've literally got maybe £50, £100 a month. They're like in that place where they're still like getting rid of debt, like figuring out their finances. Do you think it's better to wait until you've got the money to do it, or to start small now?
Well, I mean, just start small now with like another unpopular opinion of mine. I have a few of them. This
is why you're on the podcast, Mark, because I like your unpopular opinions.
If you've got £50 or £100 a month, don't be like thinking that you're, it's not worth investing. Put it in the S&P 500.
Yeah,
that outperforms every. We're going to upset wealth managers now. That outperforms every wealth manager on the planet. So fuck their fees.
I was talking to a friend of mine this week in Ibiza about this, and she was saying that she's hired a finance advisor to basically choose the funds that her money goes into. And I was saying to her, that's only because you don't know about the fact that you can self-invest, that you don't know when you really look at what a wealth manager's putting your money into, all they're doing is putting your money into the S&P, but charging you for the pleasure and keeping a chunk of the thing. Like, you might as well just put it in. Now, obviously, we can't give you investment advice. We can only tell you what we do with our own money, but the S&P 500.
I can tell you not to do it, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, wealth managers and the fees that they charge, it becomes quite expensive, and it chisels into your margins quite highly, and ultimately that chisels into how much money you're going to have in the long run. So, okay.
I have a lot of wealth manager friends as well.
They're going to hate you. Oh, well, never mind.
That's what I know.
They already know your opinion anyway.
It's what I know. It's why I know they're full of shit. They just take they're middlemen. They don't do anything.
So, what do you wish that more people knew about money and how it works?
I would suppose I'd summarise it and say a job is the worst way of getting more money. It's the least economical way of spending your time to get money, is what I would say about money.
So invest on the side of having a job if you're someone who's got a job at the minute, even just a little bit.
Someone with a ton of knowledge for free, for God's sake, because that ain't free.
So this is a really interesting thing. So I was talking again recently with somebody, and they were saying to me, I said, go and work and do this. It was like we were at an event, and they were asking me, like, what should I do to learn to do what you do? And they're like, young. And I said, well, why don't you just go and work for someone for free for a minute? Like, go and be the T-boy in the office of a company like mine and just be around people that are talking about it. And he was like, I'm not working for free. And I was like, okay, I get it that you've got to eat, right? And I understand if you live alone, whatever, like, you've got to eat. But could you share a flat instead of living on your own? Could you, is it possible to bring your costs down? Maybe. And then I started to talk to him about all the times in my career that I've worked for nothing. When there's like an event coming to our city or to London or somewhere like that, I'll always message you, organise, be like, what value can I add? Because I want to see this speaker and I want to spend time with you and I want to talk to you about that. But if I ask for a job, you're not going to give me a job. I also don't really want a job, but I want to come and be in that room. So what can I bring to you that will add value to your life? And I think working for free for people is such an underrated way of getting in amongst it. Why? I don't understand why more people don't think about it. I mean, offering to volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they'll go, I'm going to keep this really broad so I don't upset another genre of people, but they'll go to an event, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day event somewhere, anywhere, could be trading, could be property, we won't single any of them out, they're all the same, and they'll go and find £5,000 to go on to their next course or whatever, but they won't go and work for someone who's actually doing it for free because they don't see any value. They think their time's too valuable. Well, your time is not too valuable because you don't know fuck all. So how are you valuing your
And then
time?
they've got to go and work the hours to be able to create the $5,000 that they've spent. When actually the money doesn't come to them; it goes to there. So in fact, if you'd have worked for free, you'd have learned the knowledge, and you'd have eventually ended up probably with an opportunity.
Do you know what you do learn from going to those places that sell courses? You learn how to sell courses. That's what you do. If you really, really pin your ears back and filter all the shit, you'll learn how to sell courses.
It's interesting. I love this. So do you think that I already know the answer, but let's ask it. What do you think is the biggest lie that people are told about money and investing?
That it's too risky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't do it. That's
Yeah.
right. That's the biggest lie. It's too risky. Don't do it. Leave it in the bank. Well, for what?
Because the bank will keep it safe, right?
Only up to 80 grand.
Only up to 80 grand, but also
Most
with
people
inflation,
don't know that either. Most people don't know that.
Yeah. Is it 84 now, potentially? It's 80 something. But also with inflation, if you're getting interest rates that are a pittance, whatever they are, the money might be safe in the pot, i.e. the pot doesn't disappear, but inflation reduces the value of that money over time.
It does disappear via inflation.
Yeah. Whereas you could invest with a potential that it will go up. It might also go down, but you've got one side you're guaranteed to lose value and the other side you might not lose value. And yet we've been convinced that this is the better option. I'm fascinated by that because this is too risky and this is a scam. It's mad.
It is. If you need to learn two things, don't you? Inflation erodes debt and compound interest, the power of that.
Compound interest.
Become an expert in those two things.
Compound interest is like one of my favorite things to talk about. And not just compound interest in terms of like actual cash, but compound interest in terms of everything you do. Like every visit to the gym compounds over time and gets you a result in the end. Every relationship, every time you check in with somebody that, you know, you can help or support, eventually will create an opportunity for something. Compounding over time and being patient enough to wait for the end result is something that not a lot of people seem to be patient enough to entertain. Do you think that's because we live in a world of instant gratification and actually everybody just wants fucking everything now? Or is it just a misunderstanding?
Yeah, that's why I referred to Ozempic earlier. All these body positive fat people, it turns out that they didn't want to be fat, they just wanted a shortcut.
It's interesting. I think that I don't understand the Ozempic thing because if it's a medical thing, I do. Anyone that I know that is paying for Ozempic is paying £300 a month for the injections. They're the same people that have told me they've got no money to invest in themselves. And again, there's no judgment, but what you said earlier, people will find money for the things that priority is to them. And actually, if your health and losing weight is an important thing, then fine, that's what you want to spend your money on. But do you think everybody should want to be financially stable and secure? Or do you think actually it's only a small group of people in the world that really should aspire for that?
Well, there's an argument here to be all like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. You don't need money for this. You just need a home full of love and all the rest of it. But you said it right there. You need a fucking home. How are you going to get one of those without money? So I think everyone should have at least some kind of grasp about how the world works to the extent where they can use the system a little bit to their advantage, or else...
Yeah.
You know,
money does, like there's lots of very wealthy unhappy people, right? There's no we absolutely get the feedback on the podcast say, yeah, but money doesn't buy happiness. You're right, it doesn't buy happiness. There's lots of very, very wealthy unhappy people.
I've never seen a sad person in a private jet, by the way. Everyone looks pretty fucking happy when they don't have to share their plane with someone else. So
well, Mark, next time you're on your private jet, feel free to invite me and I can see the same.
No, I'm not on my private jet just yet. I'm on my journey to a private jet because I don't want to share a plane with anyone.
That's fair. So has there been a time in your life where you really haven't had money? Like about where you've maybe taken a risk that really hasn't paid off and it's been really fucking hard?
Yeah, loads of times. Jesus Christ, loads of times. Even now, my bills are insane. I mean, no one's going to feel sorry for me with this, but like with VAT and things on school fees, that's like 70 grand a year for my 2 kids now.
Mm-hmm.
No one feels sorry for me.
And you're right, no one will feel sorry for you, but it's the reality, right? It's actually, you still got to make the extra money.
I could just not send them to private school and take 2 state spaces that cost 7.5 grand a year to the taxpayer each, but that's a whole nother argument. I could just do that.
Probably another whole podcast for that, Mark, actually.
So I've got outrageous bills because life does creep, you know. When you have nothing, you end up building stuff. I've got nice things around me because I enjoy them, but they cost money. They cost bloody money. So it feels like I'm skint every month, if I'm honest. And I don't mind it.
Has there ever been like a really dark time though, like where you've been like, fuck, I'm not sure I'm going to survive this? Or like...
When we had to fire everyone on bloody Christmas Eve. Good people as well. I still speak to them because they're good people. But yeah,
so
I had to fire them.
In that moment of feeling like, fuck, how are we going to get back from this? What is it in you specifically that you think gave you the fire to go again? Like, was it just failure weren't an option, or do you think you think differently? Like, what is it about you?
It's that, you know, I do think I have the fear of being poor, you know. Mm-hmm. It is an actual thing as well. It is a diagnosed thing. I can't remember. It's
since clearing all my debt and being in a position where I've got money, I can honestly say the thought of being back there makes me physically like, I'm like, shit, I will do everything in my power to make sure that that's never a thing ever again, because I remember how it felt. It weren't that long ago, really, like 10 years ago. It scares the shit out of me that is even on the table. Yeah, it was fucking awful. Horrible.
Yeah, so, I mean, and the thing is, you do have to find something in you to keep going a bit. Entrepreneurs are a bit sick in the head. I would say I'm a bit sick in the head.
Yeah.
I don't really mind failing, and I'm not really scared of failing because I know I'll pick it back up. I've done it a million times. So my fear of failure isn't completely removed because, my God, I'd do some stupid things. But I will I'm a big risk taker for sure.
So what do you invest in right now? So obviously property, but do you also invest in things like crypto and the stock market and stuff like that as well?
Well, I've got the best part of 100 grand stuck in crypto right now. I'm not really a fan of crypto, if I'm honest, but we do have other things, tech startups and medical things and bits and pieces like that. Only little, but lots of little, 20 grand here, 30 grand there, 5 grand in some cases, in some risky ones. So a friend of mine is really good at that kind of stuff, and he makes mega money off it. And I don't want to take any credit because I'll just piggyback. He's like, oh, Mark, I'm going 10 in this. And I'll go, all right, fine, I'll go 5. So I do have a stock market, interest, but I don't know anything about it.
It's fair. You don't really need to know anything about it. Like,
I'm right off the back of him and his insane due diligence. And the fact that he's putting his money in it, I just send it to him blindly.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Would you say that you trust yourself with money? And again, I think I know this about you anyway, but for people listening, you have lovely things. You spend money on lovely things. You enjoy the money that you make. But do you, when I say do you trust yourself with money, if you didn't have it and couldn't afford it, do you still spend it, or do you spend what you can afford?
A mix. So I'll explain the mix. So through some of my early businesses, they were quite enjoyable, but I never spent any money. It was always like, it's got to go back in. It's got to go back in. It's got to go back in. And some of them fucking failed anyway, and I didn't have them. So now I'm like, pay myself first, get some nice things. Maybe, yeah. So a bit of both. So I do trust myself with money, but now I don't go out spending absolutely every penny that comes in because that's stupid. But I don't hold back anymore. My business could be bigger if I spent less is probably the best way to answer that.
But at the same time, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So you have a part of all the money that you're making, you actively enjoy along the way?
And when I say my business, I'm talking about EH Capital, not developments, construction, care, or anything. I'm just the one that cash flows. Could be bigger, arguably, but life could be more boring, But that could also go pop tomorrow, and then what? I've pumped it all in to not bother paying any tax-free reinvestment vehicles, and then what?
So you might as well enjoy it along the way as well.
A bit, yeah. So I do trust myself with it, I suppose, because I do stop. Sometimes I'm like, don't.
That's not for today. It's not for today.
Tomorrow, you get on the phone. Hi, guys, any sales in? Yeah, fuck it, I'll have it.
Bearing in mind, when the tech didn't work, for anyone listening to this, when the tech didn't work yesterday, Mark basically said to me, I'll just get on a flight tonight and I'll come to Ibiza and we'll just do it in person. That's basically the conversation that we had, which was quite fun. Yeah,
for sure. I love a little flight to go and meet people. It's much better. The UK is a bit rubbish at the moment. And I'm born and bred bloody full English before everyone starts, but it is a bit rubbish at the minute.
It's cold. It's snowing. It's not what you want.
It's cold. It's miserable out there. It's freezing cold and raining, and my neighbour has got his gardener pressure washing his path.
Hilarious. So here's a question for you. Why are you there if you could afford to be anywhere?
Oh, do you go anywhere? I'm going to St. Moritz in a couple of days.
You are going to St. Moritz in a couple of days.
Everyone
That's
goes,
true.
oh, Mark, you're so tanned. Where have you been? It's like, well, last year I was consistently abroad 2 to 3 times a month.
When I'm back in Ibiza later in the year, you can fly over and we'll hang out here because all the season will be open later in the year and we can go out. It'll be great.
I'll come out. I love a mainland Europe hop. It's so easy. I don't live far from Birmingham Airport and you can just go
straight over. So I could chat to you for ages. I love talking to you anyway. But we have to wrap up at some point. So at the end of every episode, what we do is we ask you a question that's come from our previous guest, and then we ask you a question to give us a question for our next guest. So the question
I tracked for this and forgot to think about that question and the answer, by the way.
That's okay. I'll ask you again. So the question is, what is the number one thing?
Stop you there. And I just want to say something actually before. So I just want to touch on the fact that part of our giving back from all the money that we've done in developments and things, we've started a care company housing vulnerable children. Ofsted registered. I need to mention the care company because I didn't on that whole journey thing.
Tell us a bit more about that.
We've got children from pretty colourful backgrounds in houses now being looked after properly because we're doing it properly under full regulation. And not cash cowing it. That we are pumping straight back in for the kids.
And actually, I think that's probably come to your mind because of this question. Because the question was, what is the number one thing you can do to help somebody else along their financial journey? And I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff that you do contribute to community and things like that. But what would you say is the number one thing you're doing right now with your money, with your success, with your wealth to help other people?
Yeah, fine. It is that. It is the care thing. So we are a couple of million quid upside down in that. And it's only just become stable in the last couple of months, and we're years and years in researching that. But now we've got Ofsted it's called residential children's care, if anyone's going to Google exactly what we do, because some people go, oh, so you do social housing? No. Oh, so you do orphanages? No. We do residential children's care, one house, 2 kids max, 1 kid normally, Ofsted regulated, very specialist, very hard to do stuff. That's what we do with our money to help.
Amazing. And is there anything...
Bastards cash cowing it, and you're all bastards and you know who you are, stop doing it because they're kids.
Yeah, that's again for another conversation. But do you think there's anything that you'll do in the future that you're not doing yet, but you'd like to do to help people to understand money, investing, wealth creation better?
Yeah. Do you know what I want to do? What I really want to do, and if anyone out there listens to this and you want to do it as well, come and get in touch with me. I want to open a Dragon's Den for kids.
I'm in.
And I don't even
That
care
sounds
if
so
anyone
fun.
steals this idea. It just needs to happen. I've got enough stuff on. I don't care if someone does it. I'd like to do a dragon's den for kids.
I love that idea.
And
how would you, what would you do? Get people that have got money to effectively act as the dragons, and then the kids would come and pitch their ideas. And
Nearly. I'd get local people and I'd say, right, you stick £1,000 in, I know you're good for it. You stick £1,000 in, I know you're good for it. And go around the local businesses and then hold a little event somewhere in my local town and get kids from a normal school to come and talk to us about some of their ideas, and just maybe give them 20 quid, 30 quid, 50 quid to go and do it out of this pot of money.
I love that as an idea. We should talk about this, Mark, because it'd be really fun. Because one of my missions with Money Mechanics is to bring investing literacy, financial literacy into the hands of kids. So like young adults, so that what happened to me with debt happened because I didn't understand what credit cards meant, how to budget, all the things. And I ended up financially screwed. And I feel very lucky that I was able to fix that. It's not really luck because I worked my ass off, but I'm in a position now where I don't have that problem anymore. But there's so many young people that I speak to and they're like, I don't know what an interest rate is. I don't know what a mortgage is. I don't know how to do this. Yeah. So actually your idea and my idea with Money Mechanics could in fact work quite nicely together. We could maybe do something on this.
People, little 500 quid, 1,000 quid from your business, chuck it in, be part of it. Go on the branding. We're not going to give you anything for it other than a bit of exposure because it all wants to go to the kids. Or come along and talk to the kids, and let's stop them from like thinking they just need to go and work in a shop or something.
Have a job. So if there's any investors listening to this that want to chuck £1,000 into a pot where we can invest in startups, but for teenagers, that would be incredible. Do it as a bloody
one-off.
Get in touch.
Do it as a one-off, and if it works, do it again. If it doesn't work.
Get in touch with us because we will definitely explore this conversation. Mark, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been a pleasure. If people want to get hold of you, how can they get hold of you? Where are you hanging out? How do they contact you?
Don't. Please leave me alone.
Just fuck off.
No. Don't call me. I'll call you. It's been fun. No. Instagram is where I'm most live on social media. Mark Potter Official. It's an open profile. You can. It's there.
I will make sure the link is in with the show notes. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's been fun, and I will speak to you soon.
Don't you need a question for your next guest?
Oh yeah, shit, I do. Quick, give me that. I got too excited about Dragon's Den then, and I just forgot what I was supposed to be doing.
I don't actually have one. I'm just trying to think of one now.
Brilliant.
All right, fine. I got something. It's more advisory than question, but it'd be along the lines of when you're sending something like a pitch or an idea or an email or something like that, if you're going to go and try and work for someone for free or something like that.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't send it to someone like Alan Sugar, don't send it.
So in your opinion, what is the best way to do? So if someone were to approach you and pitch you for something, then how should they do that?
Well, they want to say eloquently, I know nothing. I'd quite like to know some of the things that you know. Can I come and chill with you for a few hours?
Great. So when we ask,
I've done that, I've done the other, but me, I'd be like, I've just sod off.
So what we'll ask the question as is, if someone was to approach you to want to come and work with you or volunteer for you or whatever, how would they get your attention?
Yeah, that's kind of not my question, but my question was...
You didn't ask a question.
I know, it's like if you, when you're sending an email or trying to get an offer or something accepted, if you wouldn't send it to someone like Alan Sugar, don't send it. Why would you do it?
Why do people send out mediocre stuff?
Yeah.
Why are we cutting corners when you could be better?
If you wouldn't send it to someone important, why are you sending it to someone that you don't
is also important?
To someone that's not important but is important to you. I don't get it.
I will work out how we ask that question, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And if I think
Mark, Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, cool. Cheers. Bye, Sarah.
Bye. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the podcast episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you that the weekly Money Mechanics newsletter is available to you completely free. This is a newsletter that I'm going to send out every week to just give you some ideas around what's happening in the markets, what's happening at a global level, what's happening at a lot more local level, so that you can better understand what you can do with your money to make it work for you for the future. I'm also going to share in the newsletter what I'm doing in my own portfolio, just to give you some insights into what my ideas are, why I'm making the decisions that I'm making, in the hope that it will help you to make those decisions in your own portfolios as well. All you've got to do is find the link that's with this episode, hit the link and subscribe, and that newsletter will start to come out to you every single week. I'd also really love to take this opportunity to invite you to drop me a review. I love the opportunity of getting to share these podcast episodes with you. It really helps me to better understand how we can do the best job that we can here at Money Mechanics if you tell us your feedback. So drop us a review, tell us the sort of guests that you want, talk to me and connect with me on Instagram, talk to us on YouTube, wherever you are hanging out. Tell us how you're finding it, and we can make this the very best podcast it can be. Thank you again for being such a valued listener. I appreciate you all, and I'll speak to you soon.